Today we're going to talk about the 2nd Connecticut Light Cavalry Dragoons, also known as Sheldon's Dragoons. First Light Horse Continental Unit commissioned by the Continental Congress for the Continental Army under the Commander-in-Chief George Washington. They would serve as his personal guard, as the first postman. They're known as Washington's Eyes. The specific commission was born out of the escape through New Jersey. They were there at Trenton when Washington reappeared. They guarded him while he took command from Lee at Monmouth. They were by his side at Yorktown, and so many places in between. We're going to have so much fun talking about these guys. This trailblazing unit, never more than 400 men, never more than 256 in one place at a time. Also, were the first United States military unit to conduct joint operations with another nation, with the French and Rochambeau's army. This happened in Tarrytown, New York. After the operation, lending officers and enlistment men to be bodyguards to the French officers. Major Benjamin Talmadge was also a bodyguard to Rochambeau.
The victories at Trenton and Princeton secured New Jersey. Washington knew that the New Jersey hills controlled New York and Philadelphia. And just as important, he knew that these hills were rich in the most vital war material of those critical days. Iron. Oxford Furnace in Warren County is merely a picturesque ruin today. But from its beginning in 1742, and particularly during the years of the Revolutionary War, its iron played a decisive role in the destiny of America. Men still look to the New Jersey hills for iron. Mount Hope, one of our 3 major iron mines, continues to yield high-grade ore. Interestingly enough, this iron is brought up to the deepest mine shaft east of the Mississippi. 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 Deepest mine shaft east of the Mississippi.
The 2nd Continental Dragoons started out, as some historians have said, lacklusterly, but I would urge to disagree because before the unit was formed, the commander and the basic heart of this unit was already in service as the Connecticut 5th Light Horse. And they did successfully help keep the Continental Army together and get them across New Jersey with between their scouting, their surprise attacks. They're working with the militia, light cavalry from Pennsylvania, outside Philadelphia, Valley Forge. In New Jersey during the Forge War, the capture in Trenton, and so on and so forth. Colonel Elijah Sheldon, born in 1741, died in 1805, was the son of a Connecticut legislator. Unlike today, the son of a Connecticut legislator was also an accomplished horseman, shot, and frontiersman. He spent his youth learning all these skills with his boyhood friend Ethan Allen. These name drops are actually pretty common when speaking about major figures during this period. For example, General Daniel Morgan and his cousin Daniel Boone were both wartime teamsters together during the 7 Years' War. That said, Colonel Sheldon served the Colonial Light Horse Militia from 1768 all the way until prior to the onset of the war as a major of the 5th Connecticut Light Horse from 1774, getting ready for war, until 1776 when Sheldon's horse were Washington's Eyes and Raiders during the escape across New Jersey. Washington had already known the value of a Continental unit of light horse. Virginia was already set to commission one when Washington asked for Sheldon's to be commissioned and commissioned first, as they were already with the Army. December 12, 1776, the 2nd Continental Dragoons began its illustrious war. The necessity for the Connecticutians to be commissioned first led to some political strange anomalies, like the fact that the 2nd Continental is actually the first commissioned light horse, not the first from Virginia. Politicians will tell you. Yet another first for Sheldon's Dragoons. Sheldon would command the 2nd Continental Dragoons for the entirety of the war. The second also had in its ranks an intelligence officer who headed the Culper Spy Ring. Now, this made a lot of sense because the second also was the first Pony Express in the Americas, running a line from Boston to the western edges of Connecticut, where they would be picked up by other light horse units like the 3rd and the 5th that would take it to Long Island and to New Jersey or to wherever else along the colonies it was going. They were in a number of battles, but they weren't always all together because a lot of the unit was being used to be a bodyguard to Washington and then to be scouts and then to run the Pony Express. So although they came together for numerous battles, it was very rare that the entire unit was there. Out of 400 officers and enlisted men, there was never a time that more than 250 were together at once. 256, I believe the roll call was. So it just lets you know how much this unit moved around, and all these guys were like cavalry. There wasn't like some of these riders units were just foraging or just doing this here or there. They were constantly moving back and forth. So there could be 250 in this unit, and then 250 in a battle a month later, and it's 75 of the guys are different, excluding casualties, of course. To give you an idea, we're talking about traveling a whole network of orders on a Pony Express with horses. So, the horse goes so far, then you got to get onto another horse. And you have to have these setups, and then you have to pass it to all the riders. It makes sense that there would be a good 150 enlisted and officers in the Corps that would be somewhere else at any given time, including participating in the Culper Spy Ring or protecting French officers. Rochambeau's army up in Connecticut was protected by the 2nd. He actually went out and said that this was the finest light cavalry on the continent. I believe he meant native to the continent. I don't think he was slighting the British or his own troops. But from what I get from it, he said they were absolutely fantastic. And you'd want them, and he'd want them because they know where they are. They know where the danger spots are. They would know how to clear the road. In the 2nd would be exactly the kind of person that Rochambeau is going to want to talk to for intelligence. And Washington would want that. So this is as that they keep communications open at all times, having the 2nd, who is the head of the Pony Express. Rochambeau's army in New England, Washington's army in Jersey, and then in Pennsylvania, and so forth. The 2nd Continental Dragoons started out, as some historians have said, lacklusterly, but I would urge to disagree because they did successfully help keep the Continental Army together and get them across New Jersey between their scouting, their surprise attacks, they're working with the militia in New Jersey during the Forage War, the capture in Trenton, and so on and so forth. The unit was formed with Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and a sprinkling of New York enlisted men. The 5th division of the unit.
Looks like another couple death. Everything's disarrayed. We're just trying to get ready for another attack. Here, have the water. These generals are nuts. I can't believe they didn't attack when they slept.
What? Wait, no. It's a pangolin, not a vampire.
Don't worry.
My God. The Jack summoned gods.
This came from the evil man. But what kind of man grabs a pangolin to make medicine anyway? Let's try to